So, hello. Once again, I'm back on my old trustworthy Dell Alienware M17 R5 AMD edition. And before I will continue, let me check if the stream is live, alive, even, and kicking, even. Let's see. Okay, seemingly it is. So, yeah. I installed Arch Linux, by the way. Yeah, I did it. But before I will continue, let me show you the system specifications and then we will continue. First with the GUI method and then with the terminal. So GUI method it is. Oh well, I will do it like this. System settings, about the system, boom. So Arch Linux, KDE Plasma version 6.6.4, Wayland of course. The CPU is an AMD Ryzen 9 6900HX. The graphics are AMD RX 6800M. And the system has 32 GB of RAM and 2 TB of SSD storage space. So let's check out the terminal now. I'll do it like this. I think this is fine. So yeah, as you can see, yada. But I want to let you know an important distinction is that I'm using the system in full 4K resolution, 3840 by 2160 at 120 Hz. But I'm using 1.5 scale or 150% if you prefer. But as you will see soon, I'm streaming and recording at full HD, not 25, 30 FPS today. And I think in the future I will stick with 30 FPS. So yeah, you can pause the stream or later on when I will put the video on my YouTube channel, you can pause the video and take a good look at the system specifications. I think this is a good amount of money. So let's go here. I will have to do this and then this. So yeah, here we are, video. As you can see, full HD, 30 FPS. And the options for today, for the streaming and the recording, are as always, 8000 video bitrate. Video encoder for both the stream and the recording is software X264. But the encoder preset for the streaming is very fast, the default. Medium CPU usage standard quality, and for the recording I'm using MKV and the video as a recording format, and the video encoder is software X264 again. Low CPU usage preset increases file size. So this is a new journey. So far so good. Basically, I didn't use the hardcore old school method of doing everything through the terminal, which of course I could do it because they have an amazing Arch wiki, the people behind this Linux distribution. And now I think before I will continue, it's a good time to show you what is Arch Linux and why I went with it. So yeah, let's go here. I have already opened the Wikipedia, for example. So yeah, Arch Linux is an open source rolling release Linux distribution. Arch Linux is kept up to date by regularly updating the individual pieces of software that it comprises. It provides monthly snapshots which are used as installation media. Arch Linux is intentionally minimal and is meant to be configured by the user during installation, so they may add only what they require. Pacman, a package manager written specifically for Arch Linux, is used to install, remove and update software packages. The Arch user repository serves as a community-driven software repository for Arch Linux and provides packages not included in the official repositories and alternative versions of packages. Our packages can be downloaded and built manually or installed through an our helper. If I'm pronouncing our wrong, sorry, it's basically what we read before, Arch user repository. I will be calling it our. So yeah, Arch Linux has comprehensive documentation in the form of a community-run wiki known as the Arch Wiki, perhaps the best in the business. So yeah, let's go to the official website. Arch Linux, a simple, lightweight distribution. You have reached the website for Arch Linux, a lightweight and flexible Linux distribution that tries to keep it simple. Currently, we have official packages optimized for the x86-64 architecture. We complement our official package sets with a community-operated package repository that grows in size and quality each and every day. True story. Our strong community is diverse and helpful, and we pride ourselves on the range of skill sets and uses for Arch that stem from it. Please check out our forums and mailing lists to get your feet wet. Also, glance through our wiki if you want to learn more about Arch. And now a short look into Arch Linux Wiki. Arch Linux is an independently developed x86-64 general purpose GNU Linux distribution that strives to provide the latest stable versions of most software by following a rolling release model. The default installation is a minimal based system configured by the user to only add what is purposely required. So yeah, in my case, this is how it went. I downloaded the ISO from the website. I put it on my Ventoy USB stick. No problem, it booted up just fine, fast, relatively fast that is. Then it landed me on a prompt. I had to type arch install, and that it's a special script for newbie users like myself and plenty of others, I'm sure. And basically I just did mostly the default options, but I will go as fast as I remember them now at the moment. So basically I just said to the system to take care of the formatting, the default formatting. I didn't want to keep anything in the system besides I didn't care for them. And then I added my user, I enabled the root account, passwords and all that. I selected my desktop environment, as you can see is KDE Plasma, and as I said before when I talk about the system specifications. Then I choose a few packages like FreeCell for example, and FastFetch, and I don't recall what else it was. Bare minimum because I wanted to do everything else when I will log back in the system. I selected, I think, the modern infrastructure for the network manager. I think it was the backbone of IWD, I think it was called, something like that. Anyway, after all said and done, the installation went pretty fast, and then I was in the desktop environment, the KDE Plasma desktop environment, with almost nothing installed in the system. This top panel was on the bottom, of course, and it's the typical KDE Plasma thing, but I can't stand it and immediately move it upstairs, up on the screen, on the top side of the screen. It's very easy to do. Basically, it's this one, like this. You click on the set position, this was the default, and then when you click on the set position, I did this, and boom. Very easy to accomplish, nothing fancy about it. Anyway, this right side of the top panel was almost empty. The left side was like this, almost it was missing the discover, it wasn't installed. I installed it after the fact. And this button, of course, is something that I created. It's a very silly idea, but I liked it. It's basically from the fast fetch. This one, I made it into this icon here. And yeah, I did the most basic of customization so far. As you can see, I'm using this cursor instead of the default one. I just took care of the networking, sound, etc., volume, I mean, like this, to be able to see it and have it functioning properly, or the brightness of the screen. And basically then I installed my software, my preferred software. These are the categories, and also customize a little bit this app menu, and then only enabled a few things regarding the UI, like for example the colors on the windows, or this wobbly thing. Yeah, very few customizations, nothing fancy. I didn't have the time. And of course I will go deeper in this whole theming rising rat hole, and we'll see where it leads, where it gets us. I have only good things to say about Arch Linux so far. It's not for the faint of heart, it's not for the total newbie users out there. It expects of you to know a few things, and if you don't know that, you should be reading about them before you're doing anything crazy with the system, because else you will just with NixOS you will have a useless system. You will not be able to accomplish anything, or even not being able to boot at all. So yeah, don't go blindly into Arch Linux, please. And I don't know why people say that it's a difficult system to install or get along. So far, nothing but good words to say. Even okay, of course, I have some knowledge of the KDE Plasma environment and some knowledge of the terminal, but all things considered, it give me so much less trouble, for example, than Zorin OS the other days, or in the past like Pop OS Cosmic. So in my preference, in my own little bubble, this one was much smoother experience and with much better results in the time that I invested to it and what I got back. What the return of my time investment, so to speak, it was tons better with Arch Linux. And so yeah, let's see if I will get to say myself in time, because now it's not true at all. I'm using Arch Linux, by the way. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, I've shown you the system information, I've shown you the OBS settings, I've shown you the panel. Let me show you the system settings, a few intriguing things. Besides that I had to install a few apps, I had to take care of a few things in the system settings as well. For example, the system locale wasn't properly set up. I had to do a few tricks here and there. Let me show you. This one, for example, even though when I installed it, in theory, it was exactly what I needed. It was British English. I asked for the system to install British English for the language, and then as Swedish locale for the rest of the system. However, when I logged in, it was in Swedish. And for example, if I'll go to Dolphin, you will see that it still has Swedish folder names here. So it doesn't bother me, no problem at all, but I'm talking about other people. Don't be surprised if this will happen to you if you are using multiple locales. And I went a few steps here in order to fix it exactly as I want it to be. So basically I had to do this in order to have my apps behave properly, that is, not just the system but the apps as well. And then I had to modify this in order to have my Swedish locale perfectly set. Anyway, and the other thing that I had to do, very important thing if you ask me, I had to enable the display settings. For example, this section wasn't installed by itself, or let me put it this way, it was half installed, half baked into the KDE Plasma system settings. And it was pretty easy to solve, but still, it was something that I had to figure out. As with the networking, Bluetooth for example, and Wi-Fi, it was half baked, half installed. So in a sense, what I did with Arch install script at the beginning of the installation, it put the files in place, but it didn't configure things properly, and I had to install a couple extra things in order to bake, to cook, to tie things together. Pretty easy, nothing crazy. I will put them in my guide. You don't have to worry about them, not even a thing. So yeah, then I had to basically about this system. This wasn't here as well. What else? Maybe I'm missing another thing here, another thing there. Oh yeah, sound for example, it didn't have volume control. I had to install this one, for example, this volume control. But yeah, and also as I said, I installed just the cursors. I didn't use anything fancy for the, themes wise. It's just Breeze Dark and the colors of, I just copy pasted the Breeze Dark and inserted the borders and the ability when the wallpaper changes for the colors to change for the borders and the title bars, etc. It was a thing that I wanted to try with this KDE Plasma. Anyway, as you can see, the rest of the stuff are more or less the same, default I mean. And then I just changed the window decorations to the left side of the window, as I always like to do. What else? And of course the cursors, as I said, I have enabled a few cursors. I just wanted to experiment with them. Especially these red glass cursors, I liked them from Zorin OS. But it turns out that it was years ago old cursors from Ubuntu, however you pronounce it. Anyway, all in all, quite a great first step, the beginning of the journey. Nothing but good things to say. Gladly, I will gladly do it all over again. And now that I know a few other things, it will be even better the second time. But yeah, lots of things to do. Let me show you once again the apps a little bit better this time that I have installed. As I said, the system had almost nothing installed besides the few things that I asked it to install. Okay, yeah, I remembered. I asked it to install Fizz, Fast Fetch and Vivaldi as my apps. And the rest was just the default that came with the KDE desktop environment. But as you can see, I have installed all my usual suspects that usually I want to install in most of my Linux distributions. And yeah, and so far so good. The system is snappy, is very, very snappy. Nothing, it doesn't choke, nothing. And of course, I didn't have great testing period with it. Just couple apps here and there loaded. This is the ground zero of tests. I want to know if the sound is working properly in the recording and the streaming, and if the graphics are okay with the recording and the streaming. This is the most important thing after me having a working desktop, a working system. And hopefully all will go well. Yeah, I don't think I want to drag this any longer. I think this is it for today. Yeah, if I'm missing something, don't worry. I think I will do plenty of videos regarding Arch Linux. So yeah, I installed Arch Linux, by the way. What a joy. Thank you for everything, and as always, see you next time. Bye!